You do.
Oh, that is good. That is just such a beautiful mix of, the soft bread with the meat is just perfectly thin so that you can get a big old bite in your mouth. But I'm telling you, the peppers, that's what sets this off. Oh my goodness. Hey everyone, I'm Jacalyn Maines, your hostess with the mostest at America's Best Restaurants. And today we traveled to Hudson, Florida to check out Second City Pizza. And I'm really curious, what does Second City mean? Let's go find out, come on. Jacalyn.
Juan.
Nice to meet you, man. All right, so we are here at Second City Pizza.
Yes.
And tell me, what should people expect when they come here?
This is our little corner of Chicago down here in Florida. We get Chicago natives all the time that come in here, and it reminds them of home.
That's super fun. And then locals can get a little taste of Chicago without making the trip north?
Absolutely.
That's perfect. So when I came in, I noticed there's all this writing on the wall. Looks like little love notes and signatures. Talk to me about that.
When you sign a wall at a restaurant, you're more than likely to come back and check out your signature on here.
And they're also saying some nice things too, so it's almost like you've got reviews on the wall.
Exactly.
Which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Who's back in the kitchen?
Roger's back there.
Let's do this. All right, so now I'm back in the kitchen with Roger, the owner here. What are we starting out with today?
We're gonna do the world famous Italian beef from Chicago.
Yes. Where do we start?
First, you gotta have the right bread. We use Toronto bakery bread. We ship it in from Chicago fresh every 3 days. It's one of the only breads on the market that actually handle being dipped in the au jus with the Italian beef and still stay together. We have the au jus.
Oh my gosh.
The Italian beef, we make it homemade. So once we put the beef in the au jus, we leave it in there for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then it's ready to come out. See, there's
I'm ready.
tons of meat in that.
Yeah, there is. Goodness.
And you're gonna dip it into the au jus to get it nice
make...
and wet. This is called jardiniere.
Talk to me.
These are hot peppers. There's all kinds of stuff in there. This is actually made from a company called Chicago, Chicago Pickle Company.
All right, doing it. Diving in.
You do.
Oh, that is good. That is just such a beautiful mix of the soft bread with the meat is just perfectly thin so that you can get a big old bite in your mouth. But I'm telling you, the peppers, that's what sets this off. Oh my goodness. All right, let's try some other things. So I'm back with Roger again. So I'm really curious to hear why Chicago favorite eats in Florida.
Well, because I moved here to Florida and couldn't find anything that I'd like to eat other than fast food. And I missed home. It's like, it was the one thing that was missing from my life when I came here was a piece of home.
Yeah.
Was a part of the food that I grew up on.
So the food that I'm trying today, the Italian beef I already tried, and then these two dishes, actually walk me through those. These are some of the staples. Like this is...
Yes, they are. The Chicago Thin Crust Pizza. It is a cracker thin crust that's very crispy. And of course the sausage is bulk sausage.
That is some chunk-o sausage.
It is. I bring that in from Chicago.
Okay.
The dough and sauce we make fresh every single day.
Oh my gosh.
We use the top of the line cheese on there. It's real Wisconsin cheese, which is one of the biggest secrets of a good pizza is using Wisconsin cheese.
So you know all the elements that are supposed to be in the pie for it to taste like a Chicago thin crust pizza. And thin crust that's something that is interesting to me because, me not being from Chicago, when I think of pizza from Chicago, I think of a deep dish. I don't think of thin crust.
Yes. If you ask anybody from Chicago, thin crust is Chicago pizza.
This is it. That sauce is really good. I don't know that I've had such thin crust, but I love it because you can taste so much of the cheese, so much of the sauce, so much of the sausage. Like you're getting all the toppings.
So that's one big difference with Chicago too. We put the toppings on the pizza raw. Like the sausage is raw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we put it on there raw and cook it that way. That's why our pizzas don't cook in 5 minutes. All those flavors and everything from the sausage and everything else, it cooks into the dough. It cooks into the cheese and the sauce. So it just gives it that extra burst of flavor when you bite into it.
Well, that is a key element. Did not know that. Yum.
My sauce is my mother's recipe for the sauce. I did have to tweak it a little bit. The dough is a recipe that took me months to figure out and overcome, because everybody says, oh, it's the water, and it's not the water. Thankfully, I do have a culinary arts degree, so I learned how to overcome certain obstacles. It has a lot to do with the humidity and temperature and everything here in Florida. It's much different than it is in Chicago. So it is difficult to get a nice, crispy pizza. Of course, you gotta have a Chicago pop to wash it down.
And I have Dad's old-fashioned root beer. Okay, so green soda is not something I'm familiar with, so talk to me about that.
Green River was created in Chicago. If you know about Chicago, every St. Patty's Day, they dye the Chicago River green.
I do know that. I have seen that.
That's what this came from.
No way.
Yes.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And Dad's root beer originally started in Chicago.
Delicious. I love that you brought Chicago to Florida. And like authentically, you were talking, I mean, from the sausage that you bring in, like and the cheese that you bring in, oh my gosh, to the sodas. I mean, all the details. So talk to me about this guy right here.
The Chicago hot dog.
Yeah, okay.
First, you have to start with the Vienna beef hot dog. It is in a natural casing, so it has that nice snap to it, and you bite into it.
Okay.
It's loaded with toppings.
Yeah, it is.
It's on a poppy seed bun, and I have to bring all that in from Chicago.
This is unique. I can say I've never had a hot dog that has poppy seeds on the bun. That's
Chicago
a key
is well
element.
known for that.
Okay.
The bun is also steamed. There's 7 toppings on it. It's mustard, onions, relish, pickles, tomatoes, sport peppers, and celery salt. Most people freak out like it's such a weird combination, and it is. And the peppers are a little spicy when they're eaten by themselves. When you bite into it as a whole, all those flavors just come together so beautiful.
Oh, that is delicious. I'm a pickle fan. These are the
Sport
spicy
peppers.
guys?
Yeah, they're a little spicy. They're really good.
Ooh, yeah.
They are good. Vienna grows them specifically for the Chicago hot dogs.
Really?
Yeah, the pickles come from Chicago. Those are Chipico Vienna pickles.
There's like so many different flavors going on in my mouth right now.
They are. That's the one thing. That's what makes Chicago so great. Chicago hot dog actually started back in the Great Depression. Everybody was broke. It was a Great Depression.
Yeah.
They decided to try and put a salad on it, make it a meal for the steel workers, for the workers out in the streets all day in Chicago. So they made it into a whole entire meal because people weren't getting the nutrition that they needed.
I just love the crunch from the pickle and from the fresh onion. You get the spice from the pepper.
Yep.
That's delicious. So talk to me a little bit about the name.
Chicago is nicknamed the Second City. And a lot of people don't really know that.
No, we hear Windy City.
Yeah, a lot of people know the Windy City. Second City, most people that do know it, they think it came from the most famous comedy club that there ever was, the Second City. Every single comic started there. However, that's not where the name came from.
It's not.
Chicago was nicknamed the Second City after the Great Chicago Fire, where the story is about Miss O'Leary's cow kicked the lantern over and burnt the city of Chicago down. When they rebuilt the city of Chicago, they nicknamed it the Second City.
Oh, and so you pulled on that for the name.
Yeah, because it still shows my connection to Chicago and everything. It doesn't just blast Chicago because tourists think of deep dish when they hear Chicago.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything on the horizon for Second City Pizza?
I would love to have another location somewhere farther away. Nothing is expected at this time, though. I'm concentrating on this one.
Yeah.
Get this one solid, get the foundation real strong here and everything. And my customer base is awesome here. I love my customers. They've all become family to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
They've been with me for a long time. They've followed me through a lot. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and then they've all been there through all of them and stuff. So it's great to have them. Yeah.
So most of your client base, the people who are coming in now, they locals. They know about that it's Chicago and they want Chicago style. Tell me about that.
Most of them are transplants that moved here from Chicago or from the Midwest. I have a lot of people that come from Ohio, from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I think from the entire Midwest, because this is a Midwestern pizza. It's not just Chicago. This is how the entire Midwest makes their pizza.
But they come here because they know what Chicago pizza is
Exactly.
supposed to taste like, a Chicago hot dog and Italian beef, and they're like, this is where we have to go.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I love that. What about where we can find you online?
It's secondcityeats.com.
All right.
Originally, when I did first start, I named it Second City Eats. But we did change the name to Pizza because of nobody really knew what we sold. Eats is just such a broad thing.
Sure.
And even though it is, my menu is broad. I mean, I have a lot of items, most of which is brought in from Chicago
Okay.
and everything, but it did not describe everything. So we changed the name.
Hudson area people and surrounding, now you know where to go to get authentic Chicago style pizza. Don't just think it is deep dish. It can be thin crust too, because that's what the Chicagoans actually eat. I got an education today about that. An actual Chicago style hot dog, Italian beef, and more. You've got, the actual deep dish, some chicken fingers, other things like that you guys can try as well. But if you want that true taste of Chicago here in the Sunshine State, Second City Pizza is where it's at. Well, folks, this is Second City Pizza, where you can get a slice of Chicago here in the Sunshine State. I'm Jacalyn Maines, your hostess with the mostest at ABR, and until next time, where we show you where the best local eats are. Bye, everyone.